Can you believe that the official number of deaths reported for one of the most devastating tornadoes in recorded history, the Natchez Tornado of 1840, shamefully neglected to account for the lives of enslaved individuals? Here are 7 of the deadliest and most devastating tornadoes in history, each leaving an indelible mark on the human landscape. The fury of Mother Nature is blind to all distinctions, leaving devastation in its wake without prejudice. Tornadoes are nature's fury that can cause widespread destruction in minutes. The violent winds can shatter cities, uproot trees, and leave behind a trail of chaos and despair. The 1989 Dhaka tornado was a harrowing reminder of the devastation that natural disasters can wreak on impoverished communities. The tornado, which struck on April 26th of that same year, was a massive storm that stretched almost a mile wide and traveled 50 miles through the poorest area of the Dhaka region of Bangladesh. The death toll from the 1989 Dhaka tornado was nothing short of catastrophic, leaving devastation in its wake. An estimated 1,300 people lost their lives, and an additional 12,000 people were seriously injured. The tornado also left over 80,000 people homeless and destroyed over 20 villages, adding to the already immense burden of poverty and displacement faced by many in the region. The 1989 Dhaka tornado serves as a poignant reminder of the ongoing struggle faced by impoverished communities around the world. They are often the most vulnerable to the destructive power of natural disasters. On May 22, 2011, a ferocious tornado touched down in the city of Joplin, Missouri. It left behind a trail of destruction and devastation that would forever change the lives of its residents. With winds estimated to be as high as 200 miles per hour, the Joplin tornado is widely regarded as one of the deadliest and most destructive tornadoes in US history. The impact of the tornado on the city of Joplin was immense, causing over $3 billion in damage and claiming the lives of 158 people. The twister tore through the city with incredible force, destroying everything in its path and turning entire neighborhoods into rubble. The damage was so extensive that some of the areas of the city were left unrecognizable. Despite the efforts of those involved in the recovery and rebuilding process, the impact of the Joplin tornado can still be felt in the community today. As we delve further into our list, it appears that 2011 was full of devastation, as evidenced by yet another tornado that struck earlier that year. The tornado that hit Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, Alabama on April 27, 2011 was an event that left a permanent mark on the communities affected. The storm, which had winds estimated at 190 miles per hour, was one of the most deadly and destructive tornadoes in US history, with a death toll of 64 people and causing over $2 billion in damage. The tornado was so powerful that it leveled entire neighborhoods, leaving nothing but rubble and debris in its wake. The impact of the storm was felt across the region as communities struggled to come to terms with the sheer scale of the devastation wrought by the tornado. In the aftermath of the tornado, the communities of Tuscaloosa and Birmingham were left to pick up the pieces and rebuild. This was no small task, as the destruction caused by the storm was vast and the recovery process was long. In the years that followed, the communities affected by the tornado worked tirelessly to rebuild and recover. On May 20, 2013, the city of Moore, Oklahoma was hit by a catastrophic tornado that left a trail of destruction in its wake. The tornado was a massive storm with winds that were estimated to reach an astonishing 210 miles per hour, making it one of the most powerful and destructive tornadoes in US history. As it tore through the city, terrified witnesses described it as a massive dark funnel that seemed to swallow everything in its path, leaving behind unimaginable devastation. The impact of the Moore tornado was felt throughout the community and beyond. 24 people lost their lives in the storm, and countless others were injured or left homeless. The damage caused by the tornado was estimated to be over $2 billion, making it one of the costliest natural disasters in US history. The 1974 Xenia tornado is remembered as one of the most devastating tornadoes to ever strike the United States. On April 3rd of that year, a massive storm system spawned multiple tornadoes across the Midwest. It was the deadliest and most destructive of them all, touching down in the city of Xenia, Ohio. The tornado was unlike anything the community had ever experienced, with winds estimated at a staggering 260 miles per hour. As the tornado bore down, there was little that residents could do to protect themselves. The twister tore through the city with incredible force, its deafening roar drowning out all other sounds while it leveled everything in its path. Within 9 minutes, the tornado caused over $100 million in damage, leaving the city in ruins and many residents homeless. The death toll from the tornado was tragically high, with 32 people losing their lives and 1,150 injured. The tornado that hit Natchez, Mississippi on May 7, 1840 is a tragic reminder of the deadly power of nature, with a death toll reported of at least 317. This tornado holds the dubious record of being the only massive tornado in the United States to have killed more people than it injured. The majority of the casualties occurred on flatboats that were sunk along the Mississippi River, where many people had sought shelter from the storm. Unfortunately, the loss of life was likely even greater than the official count, as the deaths of enslaved people were not counted during this era. The devastation wrought by the tornado was extensive and far-reaching. Reports came in from plantations 20 miles away in Louisiana, attesting to the widespread damage caused by the storm. The impact of the storm was felt for years to come as communities struggled to rebuild and recover from the devastation. And now we finally arrive at our number 1 spot on the list. The Tri-State Tornado of 1925 was not just a disaster, it was an apocalyptic event that left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of the United States. The tornado's sheer scale and the scale of destruction it caused were almost beyond comprehension, even for the people who witnessed it firsthand. The tornado ripped through communities without warning, leaving behind a trail of destruction that spanned across 3 states: Missouri, Indiana, and Illinois. Its devastating path stretched for a jaw-dropping 219 miles, a length that still stands as the longest recorded tornado path in world history. The death toll from the Tri-State Tornado was staggering, with 695 people losing their lives, and over 13,000 more suffering from injuries. The majority of these fatalities occurred in southern Illinois, which bore the brunt of the tornado's ferocity. The tornado was a giant, a behemoth that traveled at speeds of 70 miles per hour and was over a mile wide at its base, with wind speeds that may have exceeded 300 miles per hour. It was an unstoppable force of nature that swept through anything in its path. The tornado's sheer power was evident in the destruction it wrought. An estimated 15,000 homes were destroyed in its wake, leaving entire communities in ruins. If you have any other interesting tornado stories, feel free to share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.